everybody, Web3, NFT, DAO, and Metaverse fans. This is another episode of the DAO ENVELOP Podcast. I'm your host, Eugene Crypto MC, and please welcome my today's guest. He is Andrii Shapovalov. He is co-founder of StampsDaq.com, and this is the blockchain ecosystem for creating stamps, NFTs, and art NFTs. Allows collection, trading, competing, and earning rewards. So, Andrii, it's great to have you on. Thanks for joining our podcast.
Thank you for inviting me, Eugene.
So let's start with your story in crypto. How did you get into the blockchain industry and why?
I would say that I got in not by accident, by following my hobby. And I was already in digital collecting for a few years. And then when I discovered NFTs, I engaged in a couple NFT projects. And then just the idea came up that the stamps could be a big market for the NFT collectibles fans or just in general people engage in it. And there are more possibilities than traditional stamps can bring. And just after certain analysis, we have decided to proceed with this idea.
Well, you know, when I was a child, I collected stamps. Did you collect stamps when you was a child?
Yeah, absolutely. Until I think the last year in school. Yeah. So
was it the driver for why stamps? I try to realize.
Why stamps back in those days, or why stamps today?
Why stamps? Was your childhood experience on collecting stamps? Was it helpful, or did it was it driving for the stamps?
I'd say I had a good feelings from the past about stamps, and for me, it's as to many as you clearly mentioned, in the subconscious or even in the conscious mind, the stamps are considered a collectible. So this is not something that you have to persuade people that can be collected, etc. This is already known to everybody in the world, that stamps are collectibles, and you can do it. So from that perspective, it was a continuation of the child hobby. And in general, the stamps have an interesting structure. The stamp business, I would say, the postal industry is 93%, I think, government owned, and the stamps, the regulation on the stamps is that this is central authority that issues them. And this is important also for the collector, because then you understand that this is the source, and whatever comes not from the source is already not eligible or legitimate element in this collectible market.
That idea, I guess. Stamps are sort of ideal collectibles especially for NFT. So back nowadays, today, how did the idea of StampsDaq come? And explain us, not briefly, but in details, what is StampsDaq, how it works?
Now, the idea, like I said, it was a conscious decision. We were looking at different markets where we can, and that was 2019, when we were deliberating what to do and what we can do. And just following the hype, following the trend was not an option for us. So the stamps was kind of an element in that analysis that popped up with basically a clear field with a lot of challenges, and they have been proven as we developed right now. But the overcoming those challenges would greatly, I would say, establish a good business after all, because the challenges are because dealing with government institutions is not easy. And you have to be really patient and persistent in developing those relationships. And this is exactly the challenge that we are following and successfully managing, although very slow, but successfully managing the development and integration of StampsDaq within the postal industry.
Well, maybe a silly question, but am I thinking there's no silly questions? The worst silliest question is question not asked. So why should one collect stamps now?
Generally, this is say the philosophy of philately has always been it's a knowledge and it's a history, so a cultural aspect to the stamps from the collector perspective. Of course, from the country, it's the communication of the values of economic achievements, political standings, whatever. This is what the stamp issuer is following in defining which stamps with which images and messages to use. From the collector perspective, it's just a diversity of the whole world portrayed in different stamps, and you can collect them by country, by year, by theme. Generally, these three main categories that are used. But the collector of traditional stamps has certain, I would say, limited, but to some extent unique possibilities from the general collecting experience. With digital stamps and the artworks, a new experience comes in. And this is where we see also a bridge between the traditional philately, so traditional stamp collectors, and the NFT stamp collectors, because the formula that we propose to postal industry is to tokenize, so bring in to NFT format the whole history of philately, and that's almost 1 million unique stamp motifs that can be brought into life. And this way, the 60 million of today's philatelists that are estimated by Bloomberg and this number can become also the NFT philatelists. That's in addition to the general NFT collectors. And to answer your question more in detail, the major difference that the NFT stamps can bring is then they bring dynamic, and they bring gameability, gamification possibilities for the stamps. And this is what we started to implement on StampsDaq as a main appeal to answer why would you consider collecting NFT stamps.
Excellent. So one of the role in your ecosystem is called content partners. Who are they, and how content partners can make value by collaboration with StampsDaq?
Like I said, we are NFT, I would say NFT philately focused. And with that, the NFT partners, of course, are the postal administrations in this case. So the ones that have the authority to issue stamps, the ones who hold the copyright to these stamps in majority of the cases. And because that's an extremely important factor also to consider for the current and future stamp collectors, NFT stamp collectors, the copyright issue. Because the majority of the stamps, like I said, are copyright protected. And but there are a lot of stamps just being copied and put out on OpenSea on other marketplaces. And buying those stamps will probably lead to losses. And buying the officially licensed or officially issued NFT stamps, that brings the support from the industry for the future, and that's just something for a collector important to consider. But the partners are postal administrations, and what we offer, which is, you can't call it unique, but generally on the market, I don't see many offers to postal administrations that propose a zero investment formula to cooperate on this. And in our case, we are operating we are offering an opportunity for the postal administrations, and for majority of them, except for some big ones, to allocate an investment in NFTs is a challenge. So we take it on ourselves and propose them to develop everything from technical to design parts to selling to marketing at our cost, and cooperate on a license agreement format.
Well, talking about NFT collectibles in general, we've known CryptoPunks, we've known Bored Apes, we've known stamps, digital arts, and so on and so forth. So as the gentleman experienced in NFT collectibles, how do you see the possible evolution of what we call NFT collectibles at all in upcoming years, your vision?
Well, I see like this has been always my understanding, vision, and a position towards the development of the NFT market. Those projects that will focus on a sustainable economic model, and most importantly, the revenue sharing model with the collectors will live. Everything else will be either drifting or dying.
Well, I do see NFT as a quite simple tool of Web3, a sort of building block for Web3, because NFT may represent any unique things we know in the physical or even in the digital world. So this drives a lot of use cases, potential cases. We don't even see huge potential for what purposes NFT will be used in the future. So how do you see the potential of NFT and possible use cases in upcoming, let's say, 10 years?
Well, I mean, the obvious NFT use cases are, of course, related. If you talk about the bridging for the physical goods, this is, of course, things like ticketing. I mean, this can be 100% transferred into NFTs, and then, tickets has always been a collectible items as well in some industries, and this way they can become a real collectible. Also for the metaverse, NFTs are the clear building blocks that are just necessary for this part of the digital world to develop. Then identification, of course, can be like the physical goods identification with NFTs can be used like the Nike, what's Nike doing as well, is implementing the NFC chips that can be identified and linked to specific shoes on the market. So the user, when you buy in the Nike shoes, you can actually check with your NFTs in your pocket that this is the shoes related to the NFT that you own, which means you don't buy a falsified goods from China or from somewhere else. But I am primarily looking at NFTs as the collectible items with different use cases, and primarily the gamification of this, so development of different game elements to use this NFT in. This is where the future for the NFTs, in my opinion, is.
Yeah. So tell us, what is StampsDaq on its roadmap now? What are your plans for 2022? Are you hiring? Maybe whom do you need? What resources do you need for reaching your goals for this year?
We have launched only in February, so we are like a month, roughly a month and a half old in reality. So we are basically in the live open beta stage. That will last for a few more months until we implement all the planned features and make sure that they are functioning correctly. So at this stage, we are not actively hiring, and the plans for this year in terms of the content partners is to go a few, I would say, to sign a few more contracts. Even though we are negotiating and actively engaged into different level of discussions within the Universal Postal Union. StampsDaq has just recently became the member of the World Association for the Development of Philately. And this is all the steps that we are taking in order to promote and trigger the internal, so the industrial development and structuring of the NFT business from the postal industry, because that's also necessary for the collector, knowing that the industry is behind this market, and it's not just StampsDaq buying the license from some postal administrations, issuing stamps, and one day it will end or something like this. This is not the case. StampsDaq is in close cooperation, and actually hopefully within the next, few years, will become an integral part of the postal industry, where as a platform to issue stamps and offer it to the global collector community.
Stamps is a super conservative realm because they've been existing for centuries. I would say that means that the world community of stamps fans is quite large. It's millions of people who are consider them philatelists. So I'd love to ask you about community because almost everyone I talk to highly agree that community is crucial for the success of any Web3 project. First, create a community, then start your especially NFT project. Everybody from NFT world is saying community first, then promote you, create your NFT collectibles. So I'd love to ask you about the role. How do you see the role of the StampsDaq community? How large is it? What is its role in the success of StampsDaq? And of course, I hope this podcast episode, because we have up to 50K community, will help you to grow your community, of course. So tell us about your vision on community and especially the StampsDaq community.
Well, we have a small community as of now, but it's a very say engaged and a dedicated community. But I fully agree that community behind any project is the key to success. But with regards to the stamps specifically, 50 million estimated by Bloomberg recently, number of philatelists in the world, and there is already about 100 million of NFT crypto wallets. So you can say that you have over 100 million of NFT collectors in this or other respect. But with stamps, the challenge is to explain to traditional philatelists that this is safe and this is a good product to collect with its unique features and utility cases. And on the other hand, we are challenged to explain to the community, generally young population of NFT enthusiasts that are only looking at a project if there is an easy and understandable game element to it. Like if you take Axie Infinity, I mean, the game by itself is not so unique in general, but the structure that they put behind it and the possibilities that they gave to the players within the game, this is what have driven millions of people already to play this game. So this is where our focus in. We will be already doing and will be developing in the future the gamification of stamps. And for the time being, like the one of the key elements is that we already launched. It's available to play with. Is a trivia game where the collector can use their stamps and the knowledge to make money. It's a play-to-earn game where if you answer 10 out of 10 questions correctly, you get paid immediately a reward to your wallet. You know, the more you play, the more you win, the more you get.
So we are in the world of Web3. NFTs are the part of Web3. So now the parts are DAOs, DeFi, and so on, so forth, metaverses. How do you see Web3 as a new epoch of the internet will change the world we live and work in let's say 10 years? Give us your vision.
I missed a few words because the sound was not good.
Okay, my question was, how do you see Web3 as the new generation of the internet will change our world we live in, we work in, we do business in upcoming 10 years?
No, I think it's going to be in parallel. The digital world will be developing definitely. There is a lot of opportunities and interesting things. It will be developing along with the technologies, of course. I mean, it's a virtual world, so you have to feel comfortable within this world, and the more technologies will come in terms of hardware and software that will make you feel comfortable within those minutes or hours that people will spend in the virtual world. The more number of users and the more use cases will develop as well. But the real world will for the next 10 years definitely will be focusing on bridging the physical and digital, because that's, I think, where the most of the synergies commercially and also in all other means will be.
Well, another part of Web3 of being the part of Web3 is learning or starting to acquire knowledge about what's going on about Web3, about all the technical stuff and that. What will be your suggestions how to learn about Web3? And maybe you may share what are your favorite learning resources about Web3, podcasts, books, lectures, and so on and so forth.
I'm sorry I would disappoint you here, but I don't have anything favorite. I mean, for me, if the question pops up, I just start researching it with Google and all other means, and whatever pops up that has credibility, this is what I use in general. So can't recommend any specific ones.
Great answer. So finally, Andrii, how to follow StampsDaq or how to join StampsDaq? Whom you will suggest to join StampsDaq?
We have the two primary communication channels that are developed and actively sustained today is Twitter, Facebook, and I would strongly recommend to join Discord channel because that's where the latest news, the latest discussions are, and in many cases some exclusive offers or activities that we engage specifically for the Discord community.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Andrii. So, ladies and gentlemen, you were listening, watching for the DAO ENVELOP podcast episodes with Andrii Shapovalov, the co-founder of StampsDaq.com. If you consider you philatelist or stamps lovers, such as you are from NFT world, so you may join StampsDaq. All the links are written below in the description. So, like, subscribe, share, join the Web3 movement, join the NFT movement, and be the part of the new generation of internet, which is called Web3. Andrii Shapovalov, Eugene, Crypto MC, whoever you. Thank you for watching and listening, and see you on the next episodes of the DAO ENVELOP Podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.